Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu stated that over 570 billion naira has been released to the 36 states of the Federation to expand livelihood support to vulnerable citizens. The president stated this in a televised national broadcast to Nigerians, while urging protesters to refrain and also appealing that his administration is working to alleviate the hardship brought by its reforms. In the words of the president, more than 570 billion naira has been released to the 36 states to expand livelihood support to their citizens, while 600,000 nano businesses have benefited from our nano grants. An additional 400,000 more nano businesses are expected to benefit. End of quote. Recently, the Oyo State Governor Ajayi Makinde said the federal government did not give his state that money, and that the governor further said that he only got reimbursed for funds the state invested in the NG Cares initiative. Now, this, of course, has elicited conversations and reactions across the polity as regards the objective of the initiative, if at all it's a loan or a grant, and its use. Now, joining me on the program this evening to discuss this and shed light is Temitope Ajayi. He's a senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity. Joins in from Abuja virtually. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for being on Politics HQ on News Central Television. Let me start off with this. Just for clarity, the COVID intervention fund, which has elicited reactions and conversations, in recent times. Number one, whether, if at all, it's a loan, a grant, reimbursement, and its use, particularly with reactions to states. I would like you to put some sort of clarity as to what this fund is about and what exactly it entails.
Well, I think to start with, I don't think there is anything that is not... Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Like I said, to start with, I don't think there's anything that is unclear there. The president was clear in his broadcast about the amount that has been released to state government, among other intervention programs. And of course, you alluded to the fact that Governor Ajayi Makinde said that wasn't the case. And that he later said, okay, it was a loan or it's a reimbursement. But I think we need to, first of all, give a background to what the fund is meant for. Of course, we all knew the whole world faced the global pandemic in 2020, and the global economy was shut down, livelihood was impacted, people lost their jobs, a lot of people died, and there were a lot of public health issues. And the global economy was totally shut down, entirely for 2 years. So of course, the world recovered from the pandemic, and the world is still recovering. The world has not fully recovered. So there is this program which started under the past administration, a program between the federal government, World Bank, under the NG Cares. The program is called NG Cares. So there is a World Bank funding that is meant for subnationals to strengthen health system and to support livelihood, especially for households and small businesses that were impacted during the COVID pandemic. So the president was right to say that amount had been released to the state, and it's also important to state that it was what the president mentioned was actually the second tranche of the amount. The first tranche was paid to the states last year, October or November. So this was the second tranche. So I think there is no controversy really around it, other than the fact that the point the president was making was to let Nigerians know the extent at which the federal government is working to partner with the states to improve life in Nigeria, to support households, and to improve livelihood.
Okay,
so there's actually no real controversy around it.
Okay, so is it a grant?
Media try to make it look.
Is it a grant? Is it a loan? Is it a reimbursement to this state?
Now, let me make it clear to you. The fund is a loan to the government, but it's meant for subnationals. But don't also forget that there cannot be any multilateral loan. That it has to be guaranteed by the federal government. And that is why you have what is called sovereign guarantee. So it is assumed that if any state wants to get any external loan, you can't get it under Nigerian law or constitution. Even the lender won't give you the money because they know that without a sovereign guarantee, which protects them, we give them assurance that the money will be paid back. So technically, it is Nigerian government, the federal government, that is taking the loan, even though taking it on behalf of taking the loan on behalf of the states. Even though the states are the beneficiary of the beneficiary, but it is the federal government that guarantees it. But I don't think we need to debate the semantics of whether it is a loan or grant or gift or reimbursement.
I mean, it's also part of the conversation to understand the context.
Hold on. The most important thing, like I've already said that, is a World Bank loan that is meant for subnationals. But it was guaranteed by the federal government through what is called sovereign guarantee. Nigeria federal government provided the sovereign guarantee for the loan. So the state can't get it without the federal government providing the guarantee. So it was disbursed through the federal government to the state. So, like I said earlier, the most important thing is what is the money meant for?
Okay.
And what is it going to be used for? Whether it is a loan or gift or whatever we call it, is immaterial. The most important thing is money is meant to support livelihood of citizens.
Okay. Thank you for that clarity there. I mean, I think it's also important we understand the context of the money to avoid, will I call it a miscommunication or misperception as regards, what the money is about. But my next question to you is this. So at the end of the day, who pays back the money? Is it the states? Is it the federal government? And also number two, how does the federal government ensure accountability of these funds, particularly to the state governments?
Now, the way the facility is structured, there is a kind of a quality assurance system put in place by the World Bank to ensure that the money is actually spent for what it is meant for. So, in a way, the World Bank will not just approve the money to be disbursed to any state. They will have seen what is on ground, what you want to use the money for, so it will pass through their own quality check and assurance. It's on the basis of that the federal government will disburse the money to the state or to the benefiting state.
Okay, so who pays back at the end of the day? The federal government pays back on behalf of the state?
No. It is the state that will pay eventually, but the federal government is the one that is providing the guarantee. What guarantee means is, it's like you helping your friend to borrow money, and you guarantee the money to the creditor and say, okay, this money you are giving to my friend, if he doesn't pay you, then I'm guaranteeing it for you. So it doesn't mean that you are going to pay the money, but you are only liable if your friend is unable to pay.
So what happens in a case where some states are unable to pay?
It's a public, there's no way any state will not be able to pay. Okay, let me give you another example. In 2026, 2006 or 2007, former President Obasanjo paid $12 billion as to Paris as the Paris Club, under which Nigeria exited the Paris Club debt, about $12 billion. If you remember, again, let me also let you know, any debt, whether it is contracted by the federal government or by the state government, as long as it is a foreign loan, it is assumed, because the federal government guarantees the loan, it is assumed that that debt is a Nigerian government debt. So it's at the point of payment, then you now know, okay, out of this debt, which component it belongs to state, which component belongs to federal government. Now, if you can recall, during the immediate past administration, around 2006, around 2016 and 2017, there was a refund, a Paris Club loan refund to states, if you recollect very well.
Yes,
the federal government paid about 2 trillion to state government as a refund on excess money paid on behalf of the state as part of the $12 billion that federal government paid to exit Paris Club debt under President Obasanjo. So ultimately, it is the state that will pay. But of course, they will have to pay through the federal government. Then, if there is any book to balance or there any accounting process any accounting processes to follow, then they will be able to. They can do all those reconciliation later. But the most important thing is, if the debt belongs to the state, if the state will pay.
All right. Let's move away slightly from there. Let's talk about some of the policies and reforms that the current administration has put in motion, and some of course, the acts that are signed, on. One of it is local government autonomy, which has been at the front burner, lately. And what we understand is that the implementation has been slightly stalled due to particularly payments of salaries and some logistical issues. I would like you to please speak on that. The payment of funds directly to local government accounts. What's the update? Why is it not kicked off?
Well, there's a Supreme Court judgment on that, and I think the federal government and the governors under the platform of the Governors Forum, they are also looking at working with the Federal Ministry of Finance. They are looking at ways of implementing the Supreme Court judgments. So I'm aware there's an understanding which I think was also ratified by the Council of State by the Council of State meeting yesterday, that there will be a 3-month moratorium to work out the modalities, maybe due to existing obligations. So I think the judgment has been delivered. The federal government will the Supreme Court judgment. So everybody is bound to obey the Supreme Court judgment, whether the highest court in the land.
Okay, but some governors seem not to be comfortable with that arrangement.
Hello?
I said some governors seem not to be comfortable with that arrangement, that local government gets their funds directly.
Well, the Supreme Court has delivered judgment, so I think there's no other place to go to after Supreme Court judgment. So it doesn't matter whether anybody is pleased with it or not. So it's a Supreme Court judgment, so it's bound to be executed and bound to be implemented.
Now, this current administration has said that Nigerians should be patient, for some of its policies to start yielding fruits. In that process, we've seen the protest that happened, the End Bad Governance, which of course was a product of the hardship and hunger that many Nigerians are actually facing as a result of these policies. My question to you is this. Many of these policies, the administration has said, are in the interest of the nations, but Nigerians are not finding it funny because it's biting deep into their pocket and lives. I would like you to speak on this.
Well, while we are dealing with the current situations and the challenges, I think it's also important to also look at what will have been the consequences of not taking those decisions when it was taken last year by President Bola Tinubu. So while we are looking at, and again, we have to look at the current situation within the global context and the global economic situation. The global economy is in crisis.
By global economy, can you please be more specific? Because if we also to look at it, we have countries like Luxembourg, Switzerland, and quite a number of other countries that are doing well. But we seem to focus more on economies that seem to be struggling and using it as yardstick.
So, hold on. What's the population of Luxembourg? Less than 1 million. So then how many countries in the world are economically buoyant at the moment? Even today, if you watch CNN, any international media today, from Bloomberg to CNN to CNBC, they are talking about inflation almost in every major economies around the world.
So are you saying that these countries or these economies that seem to be thriving are small players in the international system?
There is no economy in the world today that is not going through any headwind at the moment. There is none. It's just that the degree may be different from one country to the other.
So why is it that in the case of Nigeria, it's hit so badly, sir?
Now,
two-digit inflation, 34% at least.
Well, inflation is decelerating, is slowing down, and I'm sure by the next NBS next quarter report, we will see that government is making progress in containing and taming inflation. So at the moment, we have seen reports of 2 quarters, and we have seen that there's a level of acceleration.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I would like you to be very specific in the areas where you feel that, okay, inflation is it in the cost of food? Is it in transportation? Yes. Precisely? Petrol?
The cost of food. Hold on.
Okay.
At the moment, last month or 2 months ago, a basket of tomato was selling for like 40,000. As of today, it's selling for less than 10,000. That is a huge difference. As at 2 months ago, a tuber of yam at some point was selling for 8,000. As of today, you can buy a tuber of yam for 1,000.
Really?
So
wow.
You just check report from media report across board in the last 1 week. You will see that prices of food items are coming down.
But let's talk about rice too. Why is it that items like rice, beans, even gari, are still on the high? Because you just mentioned just a few items. Those are minute.
You asked me to name items that are the prices are coming down. I've measured 2 or 3 to you.
Even though quite a number still disbelieve that.
Coming down. What did you say?
I said quite a number will still tell you that they buy it at exorbitant rates. For instance, eggs. Eggs are pretty expensive now. So, but I would like you to be very precise in terms of this double-digit inflation, the highest Nigerians have seen, in its history. Can you give a time span when we'll start to see these policies materialize by the government, and affect the pockets of Nigerians?
They're actually materializing. And I'm going to explain to you. At the moment, the first gain of the policies announced by President Tinubu, the first gain, which was instant, was increase in the resources available to the 3 tiers of government to spend. From June last year, federal, state, and local government have been getting more money than they used to get in the last 8 years. That is an instant gain of the policy. So what that means, all the 3 tiers of government now have more resources to spend on the people, on social services, on education, on healthcare, on infrastructure, on security. So in the immediate, of course, the policies brought some immediate inconvenience in terms of cost of living. That was the reason the federal government also came out with a lot of intervention programs to be able to ameliorate and bring down the pressure on the people. Now, another benefit of the reform started by the president is the fact that as of today, as at this time last year, Nigerian government, or when he took over leadership of the country last year, we were spending 97% of our revenue on debt servicing. Do you get? It means to every 100 naira, we were spending 97 naira to service debt.
Mr. Ajayi, I understand that we need to go on a commercial break now. When we come back, we'll pick up from this point. So please stay with me.
Okay,
and we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me, Mr. Temitope Ajayi. Is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. Thank you so much for staying with me, sir. Great. Like I said, I was going to, we're going to pick up from where we stopped. I'm still going to stay on the issue of food. I'd like you to be specific as regards the region or the location in the country where exactly the price of food items, seems to be going down. Because, I still understand that a basket of tomatoes still goes for above 20,000 naira. And some of those basic items you mentioned are still astronomically high compared to what it used to be. So what regions?
I'm just telling you now, go and read Business Day of yesterday, go on cable, even TVC did a special report yesterday or earlier today on market survey. Prices of food are coming down.
I would have I thought the presidency would have done some sort of market survey, to.
I'm referring you to 3 independent media sources.
So there is no official survey on this matter from the presidency.
No, I'm putting it to you as a journalist.
I'm also telling you that some of those numbers or the amount you mentioned isn't what is obtainable in the markets, and that's why I asked the region. But maybe. And
I'm saying across the region, even go to Mile 2. You can send your reporter to Mile 2 tomorrow, or any open market in Lagos.
So you're saying that a basket of tomatoes goes for 10,000 naira?
It's not enough for you to stay in your studio. It's not enough for you to stay in your studio and be asking me in which region, when I've already told you. And I'm referring you to 3 Business Day report yesterday, cable report yesterday,
may I come in, sir?
And a TVC special report.
May I come in, sir? The reason why I'm asking all of this is because our reporter was actually out early this week, and the difference is almost insignificant in terms of what is obtainable and the drop you mentioned.
There's a reduction. You have admitted as a reduction, have you?
A loaf, for instance, I still understand that a tuber of yam is about 5,000. It's still high than what it used to be. A basket of tomato is still above 20,000. But let's leave that, sir. Let's talk about fuel. petrol, which is the lifeline, of transportation, at least for most Nigerians, whether it's business or private. We know that when the subsidy regime ended, right, all of this, the ripple effect is what is being felt across several sectors. What is the presidency doing to manage the situation, to bring down the price of petrol to its barest minimum?
I don't know what you mean by breaking down the price of petrol to barest minimum. The president has already said fuel subsidy is gone and it is gone forever. So
Nigerians should continue to buy it at the current rate for as long as possible?
What you are saying is like, what you are asking for is a reversal. What you're asking for is a reversal.
So I'm also asking you, sir, that should Nigerians continue to buy it at the growing rate as long as it can?
Now, there is an alternative. And the alternative, and the cheaper alternative the government is promoting, is the shifting from fossil fuel to compressed natural gas. I'm sure you are aware of the presidential initiative on CNG. Just 2 days ago, the president unveiled 30 CNG buses at the State House. Those buses, each of them, I think about 50 or 60 capacity bus, produced by Innocy Motors. At the moment, there are more than 50 centers across the country, and we are rolling out more centers where people can convert their petrol engine vehicles to CNG across the country for free, especially for commercial bus drivers. So government is promoting a cheaper alternative, and the government is targeting that in the next 3-4 years, there will be more than 1 million CNG-powered vehicles on Nigerian road, which will bring down the cost of fueling a vehicle by at least 60%. So all of these are work in progress.
All right, I'm going to stay with you on the issue of CNG. You talked about conversion. You said it's pretty much it's for free for transportation and all of that. But many have also raised, private individuals now, that is, have raised issues as regards the cost of conversion, for instance, and also the availability of CNG points across the nation, which compared to petrol is still pretty slim. I would like you to speak on that. Cost of conversion, for instance, is, I think the last survey I understand is $1 million plus. That's not cheap.
What did you say?
Cost of conversion.
What did you say?
Cost of conversion from petrol to CNG.
It's not up to $1 million.
Okay, can you please give us a cost, a figure?
I may not be able to tell you any figure.
I'm telling you,
so it's not up to $1 million. It's not even up to $500,000. And
but that's still expensive.
That, a 50% discount. Hold on. You asked me a question. Let me answer.
Okay. I'm with you.
There is a 50% discount that has been announced for private vehicle owners who want to convert, and it is entirely free for commercial vehicle operators. So it means government is actually subsidizing that. And at the moment, NIPCO is rolling out rapidly. BOVAS is rolling out. NFPC is rolling out. CNG gas stations across their network. Of course, the adoption is growing, and government is promoting this aggressively. But as of today, I know that there are about, of course, it's not in terms of availability of where you can convert now. Government is working to improve that, but I know at the moment there are about more than 50 centers across the country.
50 centers across the country, the entire 36 states?
Yeah.
Okay, is it possible to just give us a few of those centers so that maybe Nigerians that might be interested, is there where we can go to check and,
You can go to the website and the social media pages of the presidential CNG program.
Okay, can we be sort of preview of this website so that we don't go to the wrong space?
Okay, I will give that to you after the program so you can educate the public on your program.
Okay, let's also talk about the refineries. It seems like since, the CNG initiative is up, there's been little or, talk or focus as regards the functionality of many of our refineries. Please, can you bring us up to speed? What exactly is going on with the refineries in the country?
Well, they are going through a comprehensive turnaround and rehabilitation. And I know that NNPC is working on Port Harcourt refineries, Kaduna refinery, and Warri refinery. So there are different stages of completion. But at the moment, we have assurance from NNPC that in a matter of weeks, the Port Harcourt refinery will be turning out products.
Okay, the reason why I ask this is because just this week again, of course, we got feelers that the Port Harcourt refinery, its functionality has been postponed for the 6th time. There was a lot of promise and high hopes on this particular one, and this is happening again.
I think, hold on. I think we need to understand how the process works. For those who are into this, into oil and gas and project commissioning, especially technical projects like this, there are different stages of commissioning and different stages of validation before you begin to power the entire process. So I think at the moment, NNPC has said that in a matter of weeks. Of course, I know that there will be different need targets in the past, but I know they are working very, very hard to make sure that the refineries work, especially Port Harcourt refinery. Any moment from now, they will be turning out products. At least we have that assurance.
Okay, of course, we did quite a bit of research, and then we realized that, okay, the cost of the conversion, I'm going back to the CNG conversation right now, falls between, say, maybe 150,000 to 350,000. How is this affordable to those in the hinterland, particularly rural areas, and those, that are salary earners?
I've already told you that 50% discount, and for commercial transport operators, that it is free. So I don't know where we are going back on that.
Okay, let's also talk about another issue that came up just recently, and that's the subversion bill. I want to believe, sir, that you are much privy to it. Is there any stance on this from the presidency?
What did you say?
Subversion bill.
Subversion bill.
Okay, that was being proposed by the Speaker of the House of Reps. On the national anthem, precisely. I want to know, is there any official stance from the presidency on that? Because it's, of course, eliciting reactions from Nigerians.
The parliament, under the law and by constitution, they are free to make law for the country. So it's still a legislative process that is ongoing. So let us see where it ends. So it's within the National Assembly's power to propose any law, either as a product of their own members' proposition, or by way of, even private citizens can even propose laws under the Nigerian Constitution. So there are 3 ways laws can be proposed in Nigeria, either through executive bill or a member of National Assembly or members put it forward. Even private citizens, if you feel strong about anything, you can propose a law and give it to your legislator from your constituency to put forward for you. So it's a product that is ongoing, so it's within their power to do so. So let's see how it ends.
Okay, let's talk about the recent protest that happened across the nation, the End Bad Governance protest. where, of course, Nigerians came out in mass to bring to their attention the government to their plight in terms of hunger, and the hardship, being faced on a daily basis. Now, there were reports of assault, particularly from security forces, and abuse even on some of the protesters. I would like you to speak on that.
I think the president, as the leader of the country, already addressed all of that in his broadcast last week, in his last broadcast. Unfortunately, there was a fracas in few number of states, and I'm aware that the police and the military had EU statements on what happened. And President told the security agencies to look at the issues around human rights and those who were affected one way or the other. So I think we should allow the process to take care of all of that.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking this is because for many Nigerians, they felt the address of Mr. President did not directly deal with the issues. They felt that address just re-emphasized the stance of the president on issues that even Nigerians are pretty much privy to. So, I mean, they would like specifics. For instance, like time frames. I'm sorry, sir. I'm getting that somewhere. The president keeps telling Nigerians to be patient. Nigerians will want timestamps. Is it for 6 months? When should we start holding you accountable to say, okay, this policies after 6 months, if you don't see results, we either hit to the streets or we ask questions? Because keep telling Nigerians to be patient is one issue. And then okay, maybe I should allow you to address that before I bring up other issues.
Nigerians have been holding the president accountable and the government accountable from day one. And that is the duty of citizens, to hold their government accountable, because governance is about the people. It's about delivering service to the people. So the citizens have right at any point in time to demand accountability, to demand good governance, to demand transparency, and to demand service from the elected leaders and even from appointed leaders. Then talking about the president's speech or broadcast about what some Nigerians feel about it. Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people.
Okay.
That's the country of, that means we are going to have 200 million opinions.
I mean, one big issue, I'm sorry to interrupt you. One big issue here is the president keeps telling Nigerians to make sacrifices, that they should tighten their belt and be patient. But Nigerians are also asking, you keep saying the pulse of the country is lean, yet you are increasing the salaries of judicial officers by 300%, and you put a minimum wage at barely 70,000 naira. You are buying a presidential jet of over $150 million. You are renovating the quarters of the vice president, which runs into millions, billions of naira, right? 21 billion precisely. And you keep telling Nigerians, be patient, tighten your belt, persevere. Yet, they are not seeing it happening. You even opened a ministry recently. And we know that to run that ministry is not cost efficient, it's not cheap. So what sacrifices exactly, is being made from the leadership as an example to Nigerians?
Hold on, listen. I think part of the duty of the media is to educate and inform the public. I think we need to focus less on hyperbole and discuss substance and real issues as they affect governance and the people.
Sir, I believe that's why we're having this conversation, so that we'll clarify all of these issues.
And then let me talk. You are asking me questions, then you allow me to talk or to respond to your questions. It's like you want to do the talking more than I do.
Please go ahead.
So you ask questions, then give me time to respond.
Please go ahead.
Now, the fact that I want to start answering from the EU of the ministry, the proposed ministry that you mentioned. The ministry is being created or going to be created does not mean it will increase the cost of governance. And I think we need to be clear about that. It doesn't mean you are employing more. It doesn't mean you are employing more civil servants. It doesn't mean the directors will increase or permanent secretary will increase. It's an administrative convenience. Because it is the same civil servants you are using. It is the same directors. So you are not increasing the cost or personnel cost by a dime. So when journalists like you come out to be talking about ministry, cost of governance, I begin to wonder where that is coming from.
Okay, so you've talked about the ministry, but let's also talk about the jet and also that of the quarters for the vice president. I mean, if at all that is priority now, given the supposed nature of the economy.
The vice president, when was the contract awarded? 2010. So it means it has seen, this is the third government that will be in office since that project started. So billions of naira had been expended on the VP's on the official residence. So are we saying that it will be abandoned and the resources that have been expended on it to rot away or at the end of the day, government had to make a rational decision. Which one is better? To leave it to rot away after billions had been expended, or to complete it and put it to use?
All right. I understand we need to go on a quick break, sir.
If you are a manager of a business, which do you think?
I think are you putting that question to me?
Yes, I'm putting it to you.
If I was a manager of a business, I would rather feed people, sir, and address to more pressing needs. That can always wait. But we need to go on a quick break. We need to go on a quick break, sir. When we return, of course, we would pick up from there. Please stay with us. All right, many thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, I still have my guest with me, Mr. Temitope Ajayi, is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. And we have been discussing quite a number of issues as regards the nation. Thank you so much for staying with me on the program, sir. I understand that we are seriously pressed for time, but can you please give Nigerians an update on the coastal highway? I mean, we understand that that's the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, which of course should go up about 15 trillion naira.
It's ongoing. The project is ongoing. If you go to the Lagos section of the contract today, you will see what is going on at the it's going on very well. I think at the moment, the contract has been divided into 3 sections. The Lagos section is ongoing, and the Calabar section is going to start. The second section is going to start before the end of the month, according to the timeline given by the Minister of Works. So work is going on pretty well on that project.
Okay, let's talk about the economic projections or benefits this might, have on Nigerians, because many are pretty much asking what is wrong with our existing roads? Why not rehabilitate some of these existing roads? Why build a coastal highway that would drop so much?
The existing roads are being rehabilitated. They are being reconstructed. So the coastal road is very important because it's a major economic artery. It's a project that will connect 9 coastal states. And it's a shorter route between Lagos and Calabar. So in terms of productivity, in terms of travel time, it's good for Nigeria, it's good for citizens. It means that it's a project that will put more money into the pocket of Nigerians. It's a project that will open up the economy along that route. At the moment, real estate developers on that corridor, they are already using the road to advertise or sell their real estate. So that shows you the importance of roads to national development and economic activity. So that road is shortening travel time. It's a shorter route from Lagos to Calabar. Then it will open, it's a tourism and agriculture corridor. So it's a project that has a very huge economic benefit to the country.
All right, Mr. Temitope, thank you so much for your time on the program. I would deeply appreciate your input this evening. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Of course, we were...
And have a good evening.
All right. We're having a conversation there with Mr. Temitope Ajayi, is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. And it's been a great one. In case you missed out, you can actually catch up on our YouTube platform, that's News Central TV. You can also follow us across social media at News Central TV. You can follow me personally at Dakpo at Digboy. Until I come your way again, good night.